What's going on, smart people, and welcome back to another episode of Trust the Process. Today, I am here with my father again. Say what's up, Dad.
What's going on, everyone?
All right, so this is kind of like a part two, but this time I'm gonna be asking my dad the questions. This I feel like these questions will help other parents out because my mom and my dad, my dad's gonna with these questions, my dad will explain how my mom and dad's way of how they raised us and why we are successful now and all that stuff. So maybe it'll help parents out there, Dad. You ready for this?
Yeah.
All right. Now we're both a little tired. Keep this in mind, but we're gonna do the best we can here. Okay, so I would like to start off with a question. I'm not gonna get into like what the doctor's saying, this and that, because I know it's like, Mom kind of did like the research, things like that, and you did too. But you were more like trying to care for us. Well,
Yeah, your mom will really get into detail on all of that when you speak to her. It's not like I was in the dark on everything, but she was just a little more in on it than I was. So I would rather her speak on that because I know she has a lot to say when it comes to that when you have her on as a guest.
Yep. So that will be the next episode on Mother's Day.
All right.
All right.
That'd be a good one.
All right. So first thing, how did it make you feel knowing that your kid had a learning disability and he also has GAD, generalized anxiety disorder? How did it make you feel?
Well, when you were younger, I didn't feel any type of certain way because that was all new to your mom and I.
Mm-hmm.
That's not something that we were prepared for, nor did we even really know about. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like when I was in school, if there was somebody that had those issues, that either I'd just walk away or I wouldn't. I mean, as an adult, I didn't know. I mean, I was a young dad, so we kind of just took it as it came. We accepted it and we did the best that we could. But I never had a certain, like, I was sad, it made me upset, questioning what were you gonna do. There was none of that going on in my head. I just knew you were my son.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna love you, and you are gonna get treated like my other kid. You mean you're my child. So I'm not going to cater to you. I'm not going to give you special privilege or anything like that.
Yeah.
You were gonna do what was expected of you as my son.
That's right. And you're not going to pass things like, oh, here you go. Like that was not your way.
What do you mean pass things?
Like letting your kid do what that kid wants to do.
No.
Yeah.
No, never.
Yeah. That's not what we do at home.
No, there's never that there should be no excuse for that.
Yeah.
So no, not in my house.
That's good, Dad. This next question. So I've heard lots and lots of stories of how it was like, and they were challenges. So what were the challenges? What was the problems? What were the things that like you're like, oh my gosh, like I need to find a way to control that. Like what were the challenges?
Challenges with you?
Yeah.
Well, you couldn't communicate. You couldn't talk.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you couldn't get out what you wanted to say, or you just didn't understand what was going on, you would cry. You would scream. And so that was the frustrating part, because you so badly wanted to tell us there was always something that you wanted to say, but you just couldn't say it. And so it would drive you crazy. And of course, when it drives you crazy, all you can do is cry.
Yeah.
And so when we'd go out, if there was a restaurant you didn't like or you didn't want to be in, you'd throw a fit. And so me being the person that I am when you were a baby, I just loved you.
Mm-hmm.
I never stayed in the restaurant. I don't like when parents allow their kids to cry and make a scene when, other people are trying to enjoy their time.
Mm-hmm.
As a respectful individual, it is your duty to take your kid, in my opinion, leave the building until your kid calms down.
Mm-hmm.
And if not, go home.
Yeah.
And so that's what I would do. I would take you outside to see if we can kind of get you to chill out. This is when you were a baby.
Yeah.
See if I could get you to calm down. And if it just wasn't happening, I'd say, sorry, tell your mom we got to go. It's just not the time right now.
Yeah.
And so that's how I dealt with it when you were a baby. I just followed you around, made sure you were okay. Um, and I try to kind of read your mind. You know, you parents, as parents, we try to read your kids' minds and think we know what you're saying. And so I did a lot of that. But when you got older and you understood what no is and understood manners and the way to act in public, when you would throw a fit, I had to check your little. And so I'd give you a few times, you know, I'd tell you a couple times, you know, Jaden, calm down. Don't act like that. Have some manners, have some respect. If you continue to be a little, I'd take your to the bathroom. And when we went to the bathroom, baby boy knows what's about to happen, knows what's up. Daddy's about to lay the smack down.
He's gonna beat my. Oh man.
No, it was never an abusive type of discipline to my kids. But if you want to act a fool, continue to, because you knew better.
Yeah.
No excuse, you knew better, and so I had to tag your little butt, and then we go back, and you knew you were good all over again. We call that a putazo, and you were fine.
Yeah.
You acted right. We went home. So, but there was also a lot of times where, because you didn't speak a lot, because as you get older, you start to understand what your child is saying. You start to, okay, yeah, I get what they're saying. And you kind of, so you end up start talking for your child. Even your sister talked for you.
Yeah, everybody.
We all ended up speaking for you. You know, anytime somebody asked you a question or you wanted to tell somebody something, it was always us kind of reading you and telling the person who's asking you a question. We would tell them for you, right?
Yeah.
And even to this day, I do it.
Yeah.
Because it's a habit.
Yeah, and it's something it's hard to get out of too because you're so used to it. You know what I mean? So it's like as a kid that has that. If you're a kid out there that has the same thing and had a parent that still does it to this day, you can't be mad at your parents. It's just that it's a habit that we can't get out of.
Yeah.
It's like I'm trying to think what it's like, because it's something that, like, let's just say you keep doing something, right? You're really good at it, right? You keep doing it, and then one day, like, you say, you know what, I'm done, right? And then all of a sudden, you keep doing a thing. You're like, wait, I said I'm done. Like, yeah.
It's just like relapsing.
Yeah.
You're going back to the same old tactic that you were doing before.
Yeah.
It's just an old habit that it's hard to break.
Yeah.
But also being me, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes I just want you to get to the damn point, because that's how I am. Get to the damn point.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be here all day, so I'm going to explain it for him.
Yeah.
Do you know?
Yeah, we're gonna be here all day, man.
Yeah. Yeah. This is what he wants to tell you. And all right, let's go.
Yeah, because it's like, man, I want to go home.
Yeah.
But,
But there was never any special catering. Any what would you privileges?
Yeah.
Jaden didn't get privileged because he had a learning disability. Your mom and I from the get-go, we said no. He's gonna do work like every other kid. All the expectations are the same.
It's not an excuse.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's why you got as far as you have. You've gone as far as you have.
That's why a lot of teachers are like, wow, your parents really know how to raise you. I was like, they know what they're doing. You know,
there was no babying going on.
No, because every kid's like every other kid. Like, just because they have a learning disability doesn't mean you can be like any other kid. Like, you still be that kid. You know?
And
it's just different.
And I understand that there's some cases where,
but
it's a little higher up, right on the spectrum.
Yeah,
right. You have some kids that deal with a little more than what you've dealt with, and I understand that. Sometimes you have to do what's best for the child.
Yes,
and I understand that.
Yeah, there's also kids that do have like brain challenges and things like that, seizures and all that stuff, and it's not their fault. They can't control it. So there's some kids that do need special help and things like that. So me, I just needed, I'm talking for the learning disability kids. We just have a disability on learning.
Yeah, and there's some that are, like, again, more severe. Like, they're really, I mean, they're, I don't want to say the wrong word.
No,
so
I get you.
I won't say it because, again, you know how I am.
Yes.
But with you, we didn't know. Like,
Yeah.
if we would have taken you to certain doctors back then,
Mm-hmm.
prior to what we did when you got older,
Yeah.
they would have diagnosed you with tons of things,
Oh, yeah.
tons and tons of things.
They already were with asthma and GAD and things like that.
Right.
Yeah.
But because you learned to adapt, you adapted well because we made you were for it. You didn't have a choice.
Mm-hmm.
Like, these are the expectations, Jay, and this is what's gonna happen. And we're gonna, no matter how long it takes us, we're gonna work on it.
Yeah.
You didn't like it a lot of the times, and so sometimes I had to give you a little beating, but that's just what had to be done at times.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying parents to abuse your kids
Yes.
ever. I was abused as a kid, and that's not okay. But discipline is key in my eyes.
Yes.
And to me, that's what's wrong with a lot of youngsters nowadays, is they don't have that discipline.
Yeah.
Whether you have a disability or not, that discipline isn't there. And I feel that that's lacking.
Yeah.
And with your mom and I, we don't around.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Especially social media nowadays. I remember when me and my sister, when we first got social media, we would have to show you what we're posting. That.
And I had that lockdown, right?
Yeah.
I had it on lockdown. Like, I knew your password. You had to bring it to me. I would put in the password, and then you could do what you had to do.
Yep.
And then when you got a cell phone, you didn't get a cell phone till you were in your teens.
Yeah.
You and your sister.
Yeah.
And best believe it was just to text and talk. It wasn't to go on the internet.
Mm-mm.
Right? But
Yeah.
I mean, that's getting kind of out of topic here. But
Yes.
yeah, that's just how I rolled.
Yeah, that was, and the social media thing is an example.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's how you roll. So when it comes, the kid has homework, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your kid has homework, and a lot of us kids will ask their parents, what was it
Ask
like
your
for
parents
you?
for what?
For help. What was it like? What did you do?
I know you were gonna call me out on that. So
I'm not trying to be mean.
Oh
I'm just,
man. So listen, I was the one that sat down with you kids for homework.
Yeah.
Because your mom worked later, the times are different. She worked till like 5 or 6, and I get off at 2:30 every day. So I was the one to get you from school, got home, made sure you sat down, did your homework.
Mm.
And I helped you guys the best that I could.
You did.
But again, the learning from my day and the learning to your day is way different.
It's very different.
It's taught differently. Your breakdowns of problems are different, And so I would show you the way I was taught. And if I didn't know how to do it, Mr. Google would help me. But I would try to show you, and we'd sit there on one problem for almost a half hour. And just when I thought the light was there, man, we saw the light, Jaden's going to get it, and I give it to you to do by yourself, guess what? You forgot the whole thing.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
Yeah.
I started to get a little impatient. Right?
It's fine. It's fine.
I would, because I'm like, damn it. I'm trying to help this kid. I'm doing the best I can, but he's not getting it. Yeah. What do I do? So I think it was my frustration with myself because I couldn't teach you the right way. Mm-hmm. I'm not the smartest guy in the world. I'm not going to lie to you. Sometimes I struggle a little bit with certain things.
Yeah.
I mean, we all do. We all have certain things we struggle with. Everybody does.
Yeah.
And so I would get mad at myself because I could not teach my son how to do it correctly. But I would teach him the old school way. And then when I would teach you the old school way, your teacher would say, well, that's not the way you break down the problem. That's not what we're asking. Even though if the answer was freaking right. But yeah, so I would get frustrated. And I don't get it, Dad. I don't get it. You'd cry. And so guess what? I'm about to hit you upside the head and see if you get it. So I give you a little putazo. Upside the head. Not hard.
It's a love one.
Not hard.
It's a love one.
It was a tap.
Yeah. So
guess what, man? Your IQ went up like that when you knew the answers real fast, right?
Yeah, man. Look at me. I'm all setting up podcast shows now.
But you give a little putazo and Jaden knows how to do the answer now.
Yeah, it's like, oh.
No, this is all in fun for
Yeah,
real.
it's
But
all
it's
just
all in
fun.
fun.
Yeah.
My kids were. I loved my kid. I love my kids. So, to me, you listening to this podcast, you're gonna be like, oh man, his dad whooped his time. He must be abusive. No.
No.
It is not okay to be abusive to your children
Mm-mm.
ever.
Here's the thing about for people out there. My dad didn't beat me. That's like
I never would.
He never would.
It was a tap.
It was a tap. Yeah.
Mhm.
That's why, people were like, oh man, that's too strong. You shouldn't do that. Things
Yeah.
like that. But
Mhm.
sometimes, it's not punching. You don't punch your kid. Slap. Like, you know what I mean?
No,
But
not even that. Just give
yeah.
him a tap. Sometimes you
Little
got
tap,
you got to check them like you do with a dog when you got you kind of shake them up a little bit when they're trying to act a fool. And they're like, oh yeah, that's right. They got your back on track.
Even
I'm
Caesar
just kidding. I'm
Milan.
not trying to compare you to a dog. I'm just messing with you.
No. But
It's all in joke. I'm just kidding.
yeah, this is all in jokes. So
Yeah.
But to the viewers out there, do not abuse your
No.
kid.
And again, this episode is a fun episode. So you guys, we're just trying to have a little fun here.
Mhm.
What we do take it very serious. We take Jaden's learning very serious.
Yeah.
And so that was always priority for us to make sure that he was well prepared. So I want to make sure and put an exclamation point on that because I don't want people to take this show out of context because I'm messing, I'm having fun.
Yeah.
Now there's truth to what I'm saying.
Oh,
I'm
definitely.
not lying. These things really did happen.
Yeah.
But my son was very well cared for. Just so you parents out there that tend to get a little frustrated with your kids if they do have a learning disability, just breathe, man. Just breathe. Never okay to hurt your kids. Get them help.
Yeah, get them help. My dad, when it comes to the homework stuff, my dad and my mom, remember this, they hired a tutor.
Yeah,
They hired a tutor.
we did. It was your mom's coworker. Her daughter was super, super bright, and I guess she did some tutoring with some other kids.
Yeah.
And so her coworker had brought it to mom's attention, and mom said, "Yeah, let's please. We can use Jaden can use all the help he can get."
I remember that year. That was horrible.
And that was with math, right?
Yes, it was math.
And she was a whiz. And so when she came, I don't know what she did, man, but she really got you on track with the math. I
Yeah.
mean, she explained it well. She was very patient.
Very patient.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have to thank her. She also took me to go see Creed again. So that was fun. But yeah, man, that's crazy, Here's another fun question. This is a little weird.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm at the age of, let's go with senior, right?
Senior?
I'm senior.
Okay.
I'm new to this little dating thing, right?
Uh-huh.
So, what, for the gentlemen out there, because this is driving me crazy, tell them the advice you told me on how to be a gentleman.
Oh, shoot. You want to give the secrets away?
Yeah, we gotta get a little secret. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I always told Jaden, even when he was a young lad, that you treat women with respect.
Yes.
It's never okay to disrespect a girl, to treat them anything less than a beautiful woman.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know how to explain it. Just open up, be a gentleman. Open the door for them when they're coming through. When they're you're sitting at a table and they walk to the table, you stand up and you greet them. Open the car door for them. You always make sure that a girl is comfortable.
Mm.
It's never if a girl is uncomfortable around you, then you're doing something wrong. Because that's what I saw growing up with my grandfather. He treated women with respect. When I was younger, it was different because my environment was different. I mean, seeing him, yes, but also you got to remember the people that I was around. I was around my uncle who had a different girl every night. I was with, I was with my boys, and we liked the little hoochie mamas.
A lot of bites.
A lot of anything and everything that was looking like it was not hard to get, right?
Yes.
But I never disrespected girls ever, and to me, it's not okay to do that. And so, I mean, I've been with my wife for over 26 years, and today's our anniversary.
Congratulations!
So happy anniversary, Marie.
Congratulations!
And so, thank you. So when Jaden first started dating, I mean, it was already instilled in him, but he would still come down. What do I do? How do I do this? You know, I'm nervous. How do I talk to this girl?
Yeah.
I mean, so I went over just the basics with him of, like I said, making sure they're comfortable, shaking their hand, never get too close to a girl when you first meet them. I mean, don't get all like hugged up and start grabbing on them. You know, you give them their space. And yeah, just be a good person to them. Listen to them, let them talk. You don't talk when they're talking. Just be an ear.
Yeah.
But also, if that girl is just, if she just has bad energy and she's just, you get that vibe like, this isn't gonna happen. And you just, finish your date, go home, and just don't go back to that. Leave it alone.
Yep. I remember that one.
Yeah. But no, Jaden, to this day, I see him and I'm very proud of him because he does have a girlfriend, and I know they've been together for about a year,
It's
right?
been a year. I love you, Alexis Breed, and I love you very much.
And so he followed the guidelines well, and he's a little bit more respectful than I am, though. Let's be real about that. You are. You have a way bigger heart than probably majority of people I know.
Thanks, Dad.
But yeah, I'm very happy with their relationship. It's nothing that I worry. That makes me worry. Like, oh no, they're gonna make some mistakes, and you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So I'm very proud of you too.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
Hear that, Lexi? I appreciate it, Dad. Oh man. Yeah. Is there anything today's you and Mom's anniversary?
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything you'd like to say to Mom?
No, I'll save that for home.
Say that for home. Sounds good.
Just because I don't want this podcast to be about that. I don't mean this episode to be about that.
Yeah.
I kind of you wanted me to bring perspective of how I dealt with things when you were little. Because every parent is different.
Yes.
And so I say for those parents that are just starting off, try your best to get educated. That's another thing. Like,
yes.
Because even when you got older and we took you to, what was recently when we took you to another doctor?
Yes.
There was a lot of things that I read that I was like, man, those things that says not to do, I've done. I've done to him, or I've said to him, or so I think really try to get yourself educated. Show up to those meetings, the IEP meetings at the schools.
Yes.
Show up to those parents, because I hear a lot that they don't show up. A lot of them don't care. They don't want to deal with it. They just, what would you say about that?
IEP meetings. Oh man, what would I say?
They're like in denial, right?
Yes. Yeah, definitely. I had some kids that would bring their grandparents instead of their parents to the meetings. Or I had some kids that were like petrified to bring their parents because their parents are all about success and things like that, but they don't really understand what their kid's going through.
Yeah,
and
because they're embarrassed.
Yeah, they're embarrassed. They're in denial, and it's like that's your kid, man.
Yeah, and dude, like, these kids can still do a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
They can do a lot of things and they can still be very successful. But you as the parent need to set them up for success and get them all the help that they need. It's your duty to do that.
Yes.
If you want them to live up to your expectations, and maybe so what if they're not going to be, I don't know what your plan is for them to be some major successful doctor. I don't know what your thoughts are for your children, but they will do something important. Especially if you've helped guide them and mold them, they're going to do well. And that love, they're going to appreciate that love and that attention that you give them so that they can be successful. So stop being in denial, love your child, embrace it, and do something that's going to help you and them. And just help set them up for success. That's what I say.
Yeah, Dad. It's beautiful.
Yeah. And I know I'm kind of on a tangent, kind of like going all over the place. God, excuse me, I'm just fresh off of work.
Yes.
But yeah, I had to talk on that because I hear that a lot. These parents just were in denial and they don't want nothing to do. And that also, if you don't help with these meetings, man, you are setting your kid up for failure.
Yeah.
You know, and you don't want to do that.
Mm-mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, this is kind of crazy. I've met people at work that that they would not know how to use a credit card, things like that, and I'm like I would help them out and things like that,
Yeah.
and they always could say, "Excuse me, sir, it's just my parents, they never really taught me how to do that."
Right.
And I'm like, "Really?" They're like, "What about like really?" They're like, "Yeah, it's new, like they had to find a job for themselves and things like that." They would explain that they never had support
Yeah.
from their parents, and it's really wrong. It's tough to hear that.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, people. I feel for people. I don't know what it is. I feel people's feelings, and when they're hurt, it stresses me out because I want to do something to make them happy. So just hearing that their parents don't want to do anything with their child or teach them how to right or wrong is, especially when your kid has a learning disability, it's important to teach them right or wrong because they're going to do all kinds of wrong, but they're going to parents, people blame them for that, but it's like it's not his fault. He never had the guidance on what was right and then what is wrong. So
yeah, and of course those parents are going to be upset when their child does something wrong.
Yeah,
and they wonder what happened.
Yeah,
and why did they act that way? Why did they do that? Well, because your ass wasn't there.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like, why can't they just be like the other kids? They can't. So love him who he is, you know?
Yeah. But anyway, I appreciate you having me on this show, Jay.
Of course, Dad. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, I wish I could talk a little bit more about stuff. We've got to get going.
Yeah, we kind of got going.
It's been great, man.
Of course. Thank you, Dad, for coming.
So what's next?
What's next is, of course, I got to get my mom on the show. And I kind of want to do a little mini episodes of just me talking to people, sharing fun stories. I got a lot of fun stories to tell about like me and how I dealt with, anxiety and things like that. Just little fun stories, but I'll save it for later. So thank you, Dad, for these wise words.
Of course.
Dad, you're the wisest man.
I'm all right.
So yeah, thank you, Dad. I love you, man.
Yeah, I love you too, man.
All right. So everybody, I hope you have a great day and stay classy.